There simply are no other dragons like me.
Riot's biggest mistake. Aurelion Sol. Riot Games didn't just rework a Sol. They deleted a god, a star-forging dragon, to make a Dyson vacuum cleaner, and the worst part, didn't even truly fix any of the old issues that Aurelion Sol had. Aurelion Sol was one of the most unique characters in the game, straight up. No champion had the same feeling as this champion. Was this scared off some people from playing him? Those who did absolutely loved his playstyle. Classic weaving in and out as smoothly as possible, with great animations by the way, made you feel like you were really playing a true god of the universe, the Starforger. Banger voice lines, banger animations, and the mini rework they did at one point really solidified him as this in and out skirmishing battle mage with some burst potential. And in both iterations, they kept the giant star fantasy. Traveling with that queue right from spawn with home guards was one of the most satisfying experiences an ASOL player could have. So we had a champion that was very unique, had very cool skills, animations, voice lines, high skill ceiling. What was so wrong with him that they had to rework him completely? The ability that broke it all. You would often hear new players picking up Aurelion Sol complaining about his lack of damage. You just couldn't compete. There were champions like LeBlanc or Zed that could feel like a nightmare because they can just completely avoid all your damage whilst one-shotting you. However, he had one significant ability that had too great an impact on any given game, his E. This ability allowed him to fly in any direction, almost half or more of the map. This ability was loved and hated by many. Sure, it helped with his setup for his massive star from Q, and whilst this was awesome, it just made his presence on the map way too dominant. His wave clear was solid. Anytime his damage was too high, he'd be nerfed, or whatever item combo he was abusing, like Riot's Mandate, because any champion that could push waves quickly and get anywhere on the map from level 3, even level 2, was fundamentally flawed. No other champion could do this, and no champion should realistically be able to do this. The nail in the coffin. The mini rework, whilst in my opinion great, received a fair few nerfs after the initial launch. And then he was no longer overpowered like any other reworked champion. During the launch, he had enough damage to compete with other powerful mages whilst keeping an insanely impactful E ability. As the damage went down with nerfs, so did the player base. Pick rate started getting lower, but win rate remained high. A small amount of people that did play him were mains and OTPs, people who knew the champion well and knew how to utilize his E to its full potential. Then on 19th of April, they announced it.
Before me, existence was empty.
The end of Aurelion Sol. As a YouTuber at the time, don't look at my upload schedule please, Aurelion Sol being reworked was an instantly good thing in my head, as I thought I had the opportunity to really explode my career with the rework, so I didn't question it. I didn't question it enough at least. But when it all came down to it, as we all got our last few ASOL games in, and his pick rate dropped and dropped, it was not just a rework, it was an overhaul. It was a different champion that stole the celestial skin of Aurelion Sol. Where were his signature stars? The champion that was overpowered because of one ability and nerfed always on damage instead of that one ability was now completely changed forever. Of course, remnants remain in his E, that is now a W dash, which could have been on the old ASOL. And his giant Q is replaced by an ultimate starfall, but you know what they really did? They made him a generic scaling mage. One with nothing that made him really cool. Like, sure, his ultimate looks visually cool, but none of his abilities take any skill to use. The only thing to think about with new ASOL is when to W. You just run at enemies, and if you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. Or you're just, like, it's such a linear and boring playstyle. Both his previous iterations were unique in a way that made them appealing to a lot of people, even if it's 1 to 2% of the player base. This is still tens of thousands of people. The new one is not very fun to play due to a lack of skill expression. The only reason he's maintained a better pick rate is because he's objectively strong. Of course, this is all my opinion. Will we ever see old Aurelion Sol again? No. This champion is in a statistically better spot. He is all the way at 2 to 2.5% pick rate and a win rate hovering 50 to 52% consistently, meaning Riot Games likely sees it as a success. Knowing Riot Games in the past, they would never really go back on anything they'd done to the game, and we're likely never gonna see Aurelion Sol in any shape or form unless it's on a completely different champion. The truth is, nobody can concretely say what made Aurelion Sol so special. For some it was the E, some the Q, and others the W and Flash R combos. What we had of Asol is what we will keep, the clips that remain, and I don't think the small pick rate difference and a new balance type there was the way to go with the rework. But I am happy that I got to enjoy the old Aurelion Sol as much as I did. If you really did watch to the end and want more content, please like and comment on the video. I'm truly sorry to not just you guys, but myself for not making the content that I want to make. But I'm finally here. It's time. Stay beautiful.